Prajwal. Hi, buddy. How are you?
Hello. Hi, I'm good. Lucky we got
Finally, finally, we squeezed the time in to get you on the show and on my new show, the Beard Brews. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows it's a spelling beans, but this is my new show called the Beard Brews. It's all about coffee community and coffee talks.
nice.
So thank you everybody for taking the time out and joining the show and watching the show. Today's guest is a very beloved, most humble human being that I've come across on my recent trip in Bangalore, Mr. Prajwal Singh. And he is the co-founder and managing director for Harmakki Coffee. Is that correct?
The only founder. The only founder.
The only founder. I know Harmakki was established during the COVID season, right? I mean, where
Yes.
it's a small, basically it's a small farm in Chikmagalur, Karnataka, if I'm correct. I mean,
Yes.
that's the a bit of a story that I know of Harmakki. So, yeah, everybody, please give a warm welcome and a virtual welcome to Mr. Prajwal Singh. Prajwal, go ahead.
Nice.
Introduce
Hi.
yourself.
Yes. I'm Prajwal. I started the brand called Harmakki some days ago. Some years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, basically. During COVID, I wanted to set up a place for myself.
Right.
So that is where I made a small cafe and roastery space here in Malleshwaram, Bangalore.
Right.
Harmakki is a village in Mudagere, Chikmagalur, where we
Right.
have a coffee farm. And for me, a place where I was introduced to coffee. So that is where the name also comes from.
Right.
A space I made here, it was more space. I come from a background of, I did my hotel management. I work with hotels. Cooking has been my passion for a very long time, since my childhood.
Right.
So that is where I decided I have to give it a start somewhere. But
Right.
food was a passion all throughout. Coffee was there. But since last 5, 6 years, when I used to trade small green beans and see my friends doing, and I used to have a lot of black coffee since about 5, 6 years.
Right.
That is where I like to understand a little bit more of what is the change that happened for the green
Right.
tea. Because I live in South India, where coffee is a dominant tradition in every household.
Right. And
And
especially we filter coffee.
yes,
If
because the
we
coffee,
have to be precise. Yes.
yes, because the coffee that the South India drinks and the coffee that the whole of India talks about
Right.
is huge gap in between.
Right.
And to be very precise, I can say 90% of the coffee comes from South India.
Right.
We have like
Yes.
throughout the country. But even though it comes from the same region, there was no much exposure to the same farmer or a fellow farmer knowing what is happening.
Right.
And with my passion towards food and my core interest being more of South Indian food. So that is where my interest in making a small startup here of serving South Indian snack and good coffees. I wanted to,
Right.
because I'm situated in a location. I am in Malleshwaram. So Malleshwaram has a lot of Brahmin dominant crowd. The Brahmin dominant crowd has coffee as a ritual in their everyday life. It's
Right.
like maybe a lot of people start their day with 1 cup of filter coffee. That is the day, how their day starts. And in that vicinity, for them to introduce a good coffee, for us it is good coffee. For them it is decoction.
Decoction. Correct.
So it for them to make sense that that is coffee,
Right.
it took long time. So here, that is one short journey of how since the last
And
3 years.
that's how Harmakki, the name of your brand, the coffee brand, came into picture. That's
Yes.
where it originated from. I mean, the whole brand, Harmakki. So I I hope your website is finally in the on the finish line.
I was about to launch. The only problem I faced was I had to gear up with the new coffee. So
Acha, okay.
the season was there. So like I need a month of breather space. So that is where I
Right,
bring in the new coffee also. So
right.
I'm planning we can go up by mid-February. So
Mid-Feb.
some of the old, some of the I have some of the old coffees and new coffees that have come. That is
Nice. So this was
the next.
basically the whole journey of your, your whole journey started with the coffee.
Yes.
What we, what we just. So I mean, when you're at home, when you're not at the roastery or doing something, and when you want to, just taking a break, you're at your place at your own leisure. What is your go-to brew that you go and approach? As in, now that we have like plethora of brewers in the market, every second day or every third day we see some big time influencer either from India or from other part of the world, showcasing the brewers. So, what is your go-to brewer? As in, what would you prefer?
Actually,
Filter coffee or a pour over or an espresso shot? What would be?
uh, I am distributed in my days coffee and tea consumption very equally. So
Okay,
my go-to beverage is a pour over any day for black coffee. But
right,
what I do is I start my day with filter coffee.
right.
That is where I come from and where I'm born, brought up with. And for a very long time of my life, that is the coffee I knew. So start the
Understandable.
coffee.
Understandable. Right.
I start.
Until unless you don't get that chicory taste buds, chicory doesn't kick in with the filter coffee. You don't feel like you had
It,
something
it
to
is
drink
more
in the
like
morning.
uh, one cup of love just going in there. You have your time of that window space of 20
Right.
minutes. Have
Right.
one cup of filter coffee in a steel cup. It makes you feel so
Nice.
good.
Nice. So I mean, okay, that's how you so that's basically how you do your time management when you want to have coffee or whatever. But
Yes.
when when you're not working or anything, um, when you just on a break, what is your go-to brew? Then what is that one coffee that you prefer? Is either a pour over or an espresso, leaving behind your
Thousand
your filter coffee
pour over.
pour over.
Or when I have a lot of time, I like to just play around with the machine grind size. That is where I love to experiment on espressos because
Right,
the way of how espressos open up and how pour overs open in a
right,
shop is way too different. Uh, on the perception of working and making a lot of people serve, have to know on a wider perspective if this bean works great for espresso or works great for a pour over for me to start roasting it also.
right,
I some me time days, one of the days. So that is where for love of coffee, I spend that coffee hours doing this experiment. So I
right,
spend like 1.5 hours so that I have my cup of coffee and I understand the coffee also
right.
in the same time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So, I mean, what's the current project, Prajwal, you working on? As in, what the coffee are you currently working on that that can you'll be showcasing in the month of Feb with your new web page? I mean, is there any something that we should all be excited of? Okay, this coffee is worth the try, or that we need to have it. What's the project that you're currently working on?
I have three of the coffees which I feel are very interesting, and all the three coffees are being a washed coffee, have very
Right.
distinct profiles because I like good naturals. I'm I this is my favorite, but for my go-to coffees on a daily basis, I love washed coffees. So
Wash
on that
coffee.
profile, I have three coffees that I'm working on. Two from MS Estate and one from Cutting Khan.
Uh,
Uh,
uh, Prajwal, could you repeat that for me? And can you be a little loud? I'm
uh,
really struggling to hear.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just keep closer. I have two washed coffees coming from MS Estate, that is
MS
Bharat,
Estate. Okay.
and one of the coffee from Katin Khan Estate. So these being washed coffees, they are so lovely. They have their own character, uh, and it is very easy going. So that is something that I love and I would love to serve. And I feel people will love that coffee for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Uh, I being a chef, I worked as a chef for a very long time.
Right.
Being a more hospitable person, I would love to share what I enjoyed that. So
True.
I
Of course.
hand in hand with
Because you're
the
confident in that,
farmers.
and
Yes.
that's the way you will reciprocate to other people as well. Understandable. Correct.
And it is nice that the farmer also works hand in hand to uh, be a part in the whole journey. Like
Right.
when we do farm work, we make sure to understand the coffee better. So when we say understanding the coffee better, farmers' work is very tough. So
Right.
tough work when we
And which is
say
always overlooked, which is always overlooked by the end users.
yes, can say that.
Let's just be honest, Prajwal. It is because the whole you know praises that should be given to the farmers, hardly any percentage of it goes to them. So yes, I mean,
Just an example I'll give you. Like you open a bag of coffee from any of the roaster. Uh,
right.
the way the beans look, the way it is roasted, the way it is for a consumer, it is a packet of coffee that the beans are looking nice, tasting nice. But
Yes.
behind it, it is almost like 13 to 14 steps
Oh
where
yes.
each person has to do his best to bring it up to that
True.
quality.
From your sorting to your wash station to your hulling to I don't know. There's a lot of process that is involved in just
From
you know get
what
what
happens
gives you the end result of one packet of coffee. You know.
is farmer farmer has to look after the health of the plant
Yes.
so that that plant can produce that quality coffee.
True.
So example, uh, like an example, the plant faces diseases like human beings
Yeah.
due to the atmospheric changes that keeps happening. And
Right.
apart from it, due to the disease caught by a different plant or uh, insect that is traveling from somewhere else, carrying the disease, injecting it to the flowers here. So a lot of natural things
Right.
keep happening with the plant, that which affects the harvest of the crop.
True.
Say, example, this year one plant give you X amount of coffee. Hypothetically, we'll say just this is not real number on just an volume basis.
Yeah. Right.
10 kgs. In the 10 kgs, how much of good coffee you got? How much was the damage where the insect damage
True.
was there or the fruit was not completely developed? A lot of things in the plant stage that happens. After which, most of the specialty coffee planters that have been doing great coffees for a long time, they follow methods
Right.
where those methods, when the plant is start adapting to those methods, plant as a human being, the character keeps changing due to the with the time period of phase of life. Like what happens is, like example, you start with the treatment today, so your body starts adapting to the treatment, and you see the changes say maybe 1 month later. Same
True.
with the plant. Some method implemented today, the plant is changing its own surroundings. It's like the plant is being told to do something, and
Yeah.
while it is adapting to the command, the plant gives out a different change. There may be a positive
Yeah.
change or a negative change again.
Negative thing. Yes.
Apart
And end of the
from
day,
it, there is
it affects your end result is your coffee. So
coffee.
yes.
And there is so much of atmospheric problem. If there is too much rain, there is less rain, or if the heat is
Yes.
too much.
Yeah,
Till the
there are
time
a lot of factors that needs to be taken under consideration when you as a farmer has to go through. So I think there should be more and more of awareness of the how how coffee life cycle is. How it's from where it starts to where it gets ended up as in on your table. And I mean, there should be like a series on it where people have a better understanding, and then in that way, what happens and people would be more thankful and be more they'll have more gratitude towards those people as to, oh my god, this is a wonderful cup of coffee that I'm having thanks to all the farmers and the producers and the planters and XYZ, the barrage of people that are behind making coffee or
But
producing coffee.
thanks to the industry, there are so many people taking up great steps.
Yes.
Like most of the packets that you see now have the on behind there is
Yes.
label of the packaging which maybe says more about the farmer, where it comes from.
True.
It has a brief story of where it comes from, and that also can be a part of more giving back to uh, a pride that they can hold that their coffee is being
Yes.
enjoyed by a lot of people.
Actually, Prajwal, there are a lot of international brands. I mean, I cannot say that online, but I will let you know. I'm sure you also you're also aware. There are a lot of international coffee brands where they actually name the coffee after the farmers. Like a special series. Like if for example, I'm a farmer, so it'll be like Nitin series or Prajwal series or the whole name Prajwal Singh. And these are the characteristics of the coffee. So there are international coffee that actually name the coffee after the farmer or the producer or whatever.
Uh, while I was covering my topic, hand in hand when I said the farmer and the roaster working together, the farmer makes you understand what is the coffee's character so that you can reflect it more better to your public. So again, when we say specialty coffee, there is a traceability and you have a story behind
Yeah.
it, which really happened. So it can be depicted with the product
Right.
as it can speak for itself types. So the packaging does not need more of information when the name behind it is the information types. It is
True.
a great thing where uh, a roaster or the planter can project the end result, that is the
Yeah.
coffee, because each person has their own weightage that they or weightage, or you can say a value that they bring into. So
Even the experience which counts as well. So everybody have their own set of skills and experience that they can bring under one umbrella and then create something unique and beautiful. So yeah,
very
true.
true. And
Uh,
it so becomes like everybody is like, I see in a perspective of one being a chef. So it is like me and you, we are standing on two tables side by side. We are given the same
right.
ingredients, but our method of cooking and the end result would be changing, even though the ingredients are same.
True.
It, in Hindi, they say the, or English, they say the touch of the hand,
That's
that person's
so
touch. So
true.
it is maybe how much interest, passion that person is bringing in,
Yes.
and the result itself speaks for it.
Very true. Very true. I mean, I totally agree with you on this. Totally agree with you on this. Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
What are your career goals and interests? I mean, I know you into coffee, but when I say what's your career goal and interest, to where do you see yourself going from where you are currently placed in your life right now to where you see yourself in next 4 5 years or XYZ years? I mean, where do you see yourself in next few years? As in, uh, you see yourself a Harmakki having his standalone roastery, or I'm just giving an example.
Uh, we are a standalone roastery already. We serve to
Yeah.
14
No,
cafes in
that
the
was just an
country.
example. That was just an example.
No, yes. Down the line, my perception of business is very different. I want to do this as a passion, but end of 5 years, it is business.
Right.
So Harmakki is definitely the umbrella that I want to work on, because I made Harmakki Coffee Company, which trades with coffee, green bean.
Right.
Harmakki,
Right.
which I made it as more. If you see the Instagram page, most of our posts is Harmakki Coffee lifestyle. So my venture into coffee is more vivid of making coffee as a daily lifestyle brand
Right.
and bring
And it's
coffee.
very prominent when you say it's your passion that you want to get Harmaki on the map. I remember I read this somewhere long time back that you want to get Harmaki on the map, and it's your passion to get the filter coffee. Very specific you were with the filter coffee, that you want to get the filter coffee on the map. And yeah, so I don't remember which article did I read it from, but it was a long time back that I read. And I'm like, you know what? One day I'll get this guy and speak to him.
Uh, Filter coffee, yes. Uh, I would like to make sure I make people understand what is filter coffee and what is differentiator of coffee, um, uh, which what I represented myself and the brand during NBC last year.
Right.
So I wore a hoodie and I represented South Indian filter coffee. The statement I gave there also was, I'm making a cortado that resembles a South Indian filter coffee because of its strength and the depth it has.
Right.
So that is uh, something I want to put out on the stage where uh, Indian coffee can make difference and show people how good the taste flavors of India is also. Because we have a lot of history in India of growing coffee, but out in the map there, Indian coffee still is not up to the mark.
Right.
Uh, when we say history, we grow coffee for almost 300 plus years in India, but there are very less, even though there is so much volume, why doesn't the world speak of it? You need
I think these are
more.
some of the challenges that you as a roaster and people who are farmers and planters face. I'm sure.
Uh, Very much. One reason is the direction I go towards is also educating people because
Right.
the fellow farmer does not understand when he sees an expensive packet. Like an example, I had a talk with uh, about 250 farmers, and they come in various sizes of volume in single digit to 3-4 digit volume size of their acreage. But they say why my estates. They say why is my estate not spoken about, even though I
Right.
am so big. It is a hard work that they need to know that the quality of the coffee they also grow can be uplifted and made better. So most of it is spread of knowledge where everybody hand in hand is technically sound enough. It is like everybody is on the same page and going to the next
Right.
page forward.
Right.
Most of the time in India, what happens is uh, somebody who is more advanced, educated, is maybe in the 10th page, but the farmer who's been saying third generation, fourth generation, he might still
Right.
have the struggles of the first page.
Right.
So that is where
Yeah. I mean,
that is
that
also
is
a
a
direction.
challenge that, yeah, that is a big challenge. But then, Prajwal, what do you think if we as end users and you as a roaster, educator, influencer, what if we, come under one roof and, and allocate individuals who have hand-on experience about coffee, everything, and we allocate these individuals that we select and tell them to look after those estate where the farmers are complaining as to why my farm or my estate is not spoken about. How would that help? Do you think that that can be a good approach to it? So in that way, what happens is the people that we allocate, say, if we allocate a gentleman to a estate or a farm, and he spends the time educating those farmers, overlooking the whole process and everything, and in return, the farmer, of course, it's going to take a lot of time, but then again, I don't know. I thought of it that why we can do this as well, right? I mean, if farmers are really complaining, then I think this is the initiative that we can take. But then again, we would also have to have those people willing to, uh, you know,
That is also there with them because a lot of people come up with complaints, but they don't want to make change. So
yeah.
As a part, as our part, like I really thank you for having podcasts like this where problems
Thank
like this
you.
can be addressed, and more of reachability to such kind of people maybe can trigger them to do better.
Yes. See, I know, I know they are very old schools when it comes to their thought process, the approach to their working mechanism or skills or whatever. And for them to adapt the newer generation or the newer approach is going to be challenging. But we also have to have that equal patience for us to bear with them to make them understand and get everybody under one page or in one on one page and work seamlessly. Of course, it is a challenge, no doubt. But then again, there are very hardly any people who are willing to take that. You know what I mean? That that intensive job. I mean, I would say it is like a job because to convince those people who are already working from generations where they have a set pattern, where they have a set mindset, to change their mindset, it's another ball game altogether.
It so becomes so tough. What happens is, like an example, coffee. Again, if you say he might be a farmer or a planter, depending on the size, again the father does not want the son to face the same problem. So he might be a software engineer in London or somewhere else, and here even the workers' mentality. What happens is you don't find the same kind of labor like that was in the previous generation. So the father might be still coming and working, mother can be still working. Their son is in the city working in a bank or doing some other job, high paying job. So that is also a problem where um the father still holds to the old school methods where his father taught him a way. But there are
Right.
a lot of people I can appreciate as this generation they've come into picture and made some change. So that is
Right.
where you can see their names also on some of the packets and stickers.
Right. Right. Uh, yeah. I mean, I
But it is
think
nice.
that was my
You can say
question.
you can say
Sorry.
COVID. You can say COVID gave a boost to a lot of people
Oh
to
yes.
understand we have good coffee, and there we could say we got more elaboration or an exposure into the kind of coffee that is there around.
True.
Because example of pre-COVID, a lot of people did not speak what is natural coffee, honey coffee, washed
Yes,
coffee.
very true. I
They
was just
did
going to come to that point. I was just going to come to that point. Before COVID, nobody, I mean, people would know, but out of, if I have to take 100 people, from 100 people, there'll be only 1 or 2% of people would know what natural coffee or washed coffee is. Or probably my numbers would be wrong, but as a layman, this is what the figure I can come up with. You know what I mean?
even, yes, even to this day, when we say black coffee drinking community, the black coffee that the world knows is bitter, milkless coffee without sugar. Or maybe somebody can add sugar or jaggery into black
Right.
coffee. But even to this day, there might be very less considerable amount of people who know what is good coffee, and after good coffee, they know what is uh, even for a farmer. For my father, he knows what is parchment, that is washed coffee, and what is cherry coffee, that is natural. Apart
Natural.
from it, fermentation and all is very out of the box for them.
Right.
It is big, it turns above the head. But making a change there, making your coffee taste like what your packet says, it is
Right.
a game changer what the farmer again has done. So, hand in hand, uh, a roaster also had to educate himself. Like the coffees that we knew or our parents drank was something a dark roasted coffee that could balance well with milk. So imagine
Right.
the coffee that we know and we talk about today uh, is all dark roasted coffee. Do you think still the community can be driven that way? We speak about
Yeah.
so many light roast, medium roast,
Yeah.
omni roast, and all of it.
Yeah.
The
True.
because we still live in the society where I go out with my father, I will be like, I'll drink black coffee. But I go out with my father and father's friend. I like black coffee, but my father friend keeps judging me, saying, "Oh, your son is on a diet. He's avoiding milk and sugar." Because we still live in that kind of a
Yeah.
society. They lack that kind of knowledge where
Right.
they don't know our coffee can taste like pineapple juice or
Right,
strawberry jam,
right, and
whatever.
they'll be in disbelief. If you tell them, you have floral coffee, it's like you eating hibiscus or jasmine or whatever. But they'll be like, no, you're just bullshitting. This is all artificial flavors and stuff. I completely get that. I completely understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah, that was one of my questions. The biggest challenges, that we face in a coffee industry. So, uh, it's glad. I mean, glad we already discussed it before me even asking the question. Prajwal, tell me, what is the most you like about your work? I mean, I would not say this is like your job because I know how passionate you are when it comes to coffee, or you were when you were a chef. I mean, I know a bit of your history, even though I've only met you 3 to 4 times, or 3 or 4 occasions when I was in Bangalore for WCC. Um, but yeah, I mean, what is what do you like the most about your work? Now, currently, coffee is your whole world. I would, if I have to sum up in that way. So, what is it that you love the most about that work?
I love roasting. So roasting as a subject, I had this question to myself. So that is when I could enjoy my work because uh, I cannot be at the farm all the time. I cannot process coffee all the time. I cannot sell coffee all the time because all requires full-time dedication. You as doing what you are. But here I identified I'm spending more time on roasting, and that is my forte. In the whole value chain, I can call myself as roaster. So that is the
Right.
title I can give because I love cooking, and in the subject of coffee, the way I understand roasting, that is
There's a cooking as well.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is where I started enjoying it more. So I understood how the bean is expanding, what is happening to the bean.
Right.
I said, me, what am I in the value chain? That is
Right.
where I could say, what is that the most I love? And what is that I do every day, with, even though it takes up more of my time, but goes effortless.
True.
So
I
I
mean,
spent
see, when you love something, when you have the passion for something that you do, then you really don't would say or make the statement whatever takes up my time, because time is all what you have, you know,
yeah,
and time is something that you will not even care, because that's what you whatever you're doing, you loving that profession, whether it's roasting, cooking, whatever. So time is was or will never be an issue to you, or like, oh, you know what, I have to get home, or you know what, I'm done, or I'm tired. That will never come across, or that will never arise in the first place. So yeah, completely understandable. Correct.
so, I spend more time roasting also. It is more like I have a manual made in India roaster. So it is made
Right.
in Hakon also, made in Karnataka.
Right.
I understood more of what does the bean require. So that took more of my time because I had roasted in my family friends,
Right.
big roasters. There is a automated control. It is all expensive machines.
Right.
When I started with, I did not have so much budget to invest on. Uh, I have a 5.5 kg made in India machine.
Right.
The same 5.5 kg machine that comes from outside, which comes with the software and a lot of features
I
with
know,
it,
I know which you're talking about. Right.
is like 4 or 5 times
Twice.
the cost.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Plus,
Because
to set up that particular machine, you have to spend another 2 3 lakhs just to make the duct area. The ducting.
very true.
Yeah, yeah.
With this machine, it was more that to this day I work with the machine manufacturer also.
Right.
I give him in what is that he can as he's building a new
Improvise.
machine. He is taking more tips from me so that he can improvise on that machine. So I'm like,
So you
makes
should be
sense.
getting the royalty now.
No, I have told him I'm going to charge him at least consultation.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
if you,
that's just a French and
I strongly believe in one statement, Prajwal. If you know something and if you're good at something, you should not give it for free. Whether you charge like 1 rupee or $1, but don't do it for free. I mean, I strongly abide by it.
100%. Very true, I feel. But sometimes it becomes a little like in business, more a
Yeah.
barter or more a leverage. But sometimes it cannot be left on leverage also. People may misuse it or just forget it.
Uh,
It's nice, but uh, after getting this machine, I understood more of how coffee works.
right,
And when we say profiling to roast the coffee, it is how much the bean, how much heat does the bean require.
right,
So that is where this manual machine taught me a lot of what the bean requires.
right.
Uh,
Good stuff.
as a machine, that is nice. That is what I've been loving. And here it takes up like 8-9 hours sometimes. I'm like, okay, I've become more like old SD Java bike where machine hit ho gaya to kaam bhagta rahega.
So the machine that you currently working on at your roastery or wherever you're doing the testing, is it like a drum roll or how? It's a drum roll one.
Drum roaster, yes. It is a drum roaster with it's a flame burner roaster,
Flame
not
burner.
a air
Right,
roaster. Yes, it is the typical, you could say, one of olden
the old school, the old
machine.
school. Yeah,
Very true.
correct.
And it has many inspirations. Uh, people, I'll not take name. They say one of the big brand, when his father made this model, copied the model for their usage.
Oh,
But it's
interesting.
still the same. They are where they are. These people are where they are. So
Right,
nobody is to blame.
right. Acha, Prajwal, are there any new techniques or skill that you would want to master? I mean, I know you
In coffee,
roasting
brewing
is
coffee,
one thing where you cannot master it overnight or in 2 3 years. Mastering happens when you keep like you keep churning the milk every day till it gets the yogurt that you want or the malai that you want from. So, is there any techniques or skills that you would want to master besides whatever you're doing?
uh, not somewhere in near future because uh,
It's
because
taking too much of a time.
and yes, because my direction is I want to retire soon. I
Acha, okay.
I do not want to give. I want to bring out my passion, put it out there, and just go settle in some forest.
Forest
so,
and grow
so
coffee
for
there.
so for me, if I keep mastering a lot of things, it does not make sense for me. So that
Correct.
is one reason. Uh, me, I did not venture into doing any of the master courses in coffee too.
Right.
Because that is not the direction I am taking.
Right.
So I'm like, I do not want to
That's
waste time.
perfectly fine. Is there any books or coffee related books or resources that you rely on when it comes to roasting or doing your coffee preparations or everything into coffee? That
Most of it,
I'm asking these
yes,
questions so people, our guests, would understand you better. So people
yes.
who follow you, who look up to you, they can also venture out on those and buy those books, whatever
In
they
in
fancy.
the initial days, I read this. I just went through few books. One of the book was The Physics of Coffee,
Ah,
Jonathan Gagné. So I
Jonathan
think most
Garnett.
people know this book. It tells you more about how the bean responds.
Yes.
It is more revolving what the bean is, how bean responds to what it is, and how it is broken down when brewing is happening. Most of it. Uh,
You're talking about the physics of filter coffee, that book, right? Yeah, I have that book.
nice.
I recently purchased that book. That book is complete physics. uh, it's just too vast. I mean, I take my time. I'll read one of the days. I'll read 2 3 pages. I'll try to comprehend whatever he has mentioned. And if I don't understand, again I'll go back to the same page to understand.
Uh,
So yeah.
and another book was Black Gold.
Okay.
Black Gold was more about how coffee in whole, it speaks about how coffee was traded because it calls black gold because uh, I think taxation on green bean was from a way too early age. So people roasted and took it outside to make people
Right.
taste what the coffee tasted like. And from there it talks about what happens with coffee, and it has some science also in the same book
Of
which
course.
talks about evolution of
Of
coffee
course.
types. Uh, and apart from it, I did one or two courses from Coffee Board. I did Kapi Shastra course. I did a incubator course. I am a incubator member, mentor, and a member also for
Right.
AIC. Uh, Most of the knowledge I gained was on hands-on knowledge. So after which I saw some people speaking about on some YouTube videos. I wanted to really experience what it is like.
Right.
So that is I started brewing way too early and understanding what grind size and what it is from the roasted coffee level.
Right.
When I understood the roasted coffee when I bought packets from outside, it made me understand to go in reverse. What is the previous, what happens? Uh, and the chef brain also comes there. If it is broken down in a more coarser way or a finer way, or that is where I started buying a few. I think I have about 13 equipments that I have for myself, and each that is where I started understanding same coffee brewed in different equipments gives you a different aftertaste.
Right.
It is like the
Because the
same.
geometry of the whole brewer changes. The
Very
whole flow rate of the brewer changes.
very much.
Some would be small, fast, some would be slow, some would be extra slow. Then again, to top it up, then you have like the barrage of filter papers, like fast filter paper, fast flow rate or slow flow rate, or dark roast filter paper. I mean, for dark coffee beans. Then you have different filter papers for depending on what is the roast profile of the coffee. It's so vast. It's so vast.
Yes. When I started understanding it more better, uh, that is where I thought my father also has to know that something like this is there.
Right.
But even to this day, he does not drink filter coffee. But that was the next step that I wanted to take with making fellow friends in
Right.
the same neighborhood understand what it is out there.
True. Right.
Uh, More of which it made me feel uh, in the same time with my hotel background, I wanted to set up a restaurant of my own. But with the next thing also I wanted to do end of like near end of 5 years, 8 years, I want to have an exclusive menu of my signature dishes. So that is my end
Right.
goal of 5 years. But Harmakki as a part to this day to start off with, I wanted to serve people what everybody talks of. When wanted to when we say everybody talks, that is the methods of brewing. Because here in the locality, I made a space where I had filter coffee because the neighborhood demands it.
Right.
Apart from it, all the black coffees I sold. I again turned it into a business perception where giving people an exposure of what we talk.
Right.
They say what is, and I started doing more of workshops in the same space
Yeah.
where
Yeah. I keep
with the
seeing that.
with the farmer I work, the farmer also talks what he spent that 8 months doing for the coffee, and
Right.
after it came into the roastery, what happens to the coffee. And while we are doing the talk, people get to sip about what we are talking. So that
Yes.
made more sense to the consumer, and in the neighborhood also, it made sense that people rely upon Harmaki now. When they know they want filter coffee, they go to the places around. When they
True.
want black coffee, they know it is here.
True. Uh, Completely agree with you on this. Completely. I mean, I've been waiting for your website to pop up so I can get all the coffee. I remember in between. Sorry, you're working on Robusta. I can't remember the name, but I did get my hands on the Robusta that you had roasted, and I think I had shared my feedback as well that there were two or three different roasts you had for Robusta, or two or three different coffees of Robusta, which were from your side. I mean, I got my hands on, and I had approached you also that what this one is. It you cannot figure out this is Robusta or not, but this one needs a little bit of tuning in. I mean, it's good, but then again, there's always room for improvement, kind of thing. I don't know if you remember
Yes,
that.
I'm just recalling it. I remember the coffee also now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the like the very beginning of the Robusta that you had put your hands on, that you were trying different experiments with those coffee, if I'm correct.
Yes.
If my
Yes.
knowledge serves me right.
Yes.
Somebody is saying Saint Margaret.
Maybe. Or I
Anabolic coffee.
worked with a lot of Robustas this year
Yeah.
and the last year. And
Uh, there was this one Robusta, during Prajwal, sorry to cut you, during Mumbai Coffee Festival. I can't place the gentleman's name.
Ashish,
Uh,
I know him. Yes.
Ashichu?
Ashish Kia Coffee.
No, 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 no. I know him. I mean, I would not know him by name, but I know him, as you said, Kia Coffee. No, there was this guy who made me taste coffee, saying that, this is Arabica. Me being me, I love Arabica, and I'm very distinct towards Robusta. So when I had that coffee, I could sense this is not Arabica 100%, but then again, when you get that blend, so chal theek hai, you get those specialty blends also, like chal theek hai, understandable. But when he told me, and when I told him, dude, this coffee is good, even I feel it's not 100% Arabica, because that was my first impression. So he was like, okay, no, Nitin knows what he's doing. But I was not sure that it was 100% Robusta also. Okay, but I knew this was not 100% Arabica. So I told him, this coffee is good, though it's not 100% Arabica. He's like, Nitin, this is 100% specialty Robusta. Prajwal, I was blown away when I had that coffee.
I
I
was
mean,
speaking to Ashish. It is his coffee. So that is the Koji Robusta.
no, the Koji Robusta I tried, what I got my hands on from your side.
Ah,
This one I believe was uh, I think it was from KC Roasters. I think so. I think so. It was from KC Roasters. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, whatever said and done. I mean, whoever it was good. I mean, it's really time that Robusta get that limelight which it really deserves. In the specialty industry. You know,
but
I mean,
Robusta
that
is a
was my whole objective of making this or saying or sharing this story to you. So yeah.
Robusta is a different subject of its own because Arabica, the plant is a delicate plant, needs more care and attention.
Right.
Robusta is there. It produces a lot, but you have to nurture how the plant is to be taken care of, and the quality of produce is still has to be taken care. So that is where educating the farmer to produce good quality robustas, because on sustainability, robustas are there because on the volume game you can work with robustas.
Right.
So that is the approach for more farmers to move towards producing good coffees. But since the last 4 to 5 years, there is a word for robusta, and a motive is there in making producing good quality robustas. Me being there with robusta for some time, I feel robusta can do a lot better, but it's already come great way ahead, because ahead we can expect a lot, but
Right.
from where it was to where it is today,
Where it is
it is
today.
it is already
Right.
taken steps further. So
Correct.
we can expect in the near future of 5, 8 years where you'll have great robustas where people can rely it as their daily drivers.
Right.
When maybe again on cost of production also can reduce. It is again to work on the reverse to see what is the volume produced, what is the work behind it, and lot of it.
Right.
But with the current market trend, when you see the green bean price on the commodity space, Robusta is already picked up to match to Arabica prices. Previously,
Yeah.
uh, a decade ago, it was almost half the price. Robusta used to, like, say, on a rough scale, if say one bag was about 7,000 to 10,000 rupees of Arabica, Robusta would
We
at the
talking about
max
green
touch
bags, yeah? Green beans.
green bean bag. These are commodity market, again of 50 kg bags. Robusta used to touch at the max of price level of 5,000 rupees. So it is almost 50% of
Yeah.
Arabica
More than
price.
50%.
But to this day, on the sea price, when we say per kg price, a good washed Arabica stands somewhere like on the commodity market, 350 to 400 rupees. Robusta is already at 300.
Wow.
So it is touching
Wow.
there.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
it's
that
reaching
is
there because
phenomenal.
when like you would also know, people get their coffee scored, the farmer, and they say 88 scoring, 80 scoring. So when you do so much hard work and your coffee is scoring well, your coffees can be sold at higher price.
Right.
So that is where farmer needs to get up in producing that quality produce. Earlier, it used to so happen that they were not educated in making a change, but they were just following traditional methods of
Right.
survival. When we say survival, for a farmer, it is almost like 13
Yeah,
months of
because
hard work.
yes, because they put in all the savings that they have in that one crop or with that yield, and if it turns out they can multiply. If it doesn't, then it's all gone to loss.
And
Yeah.
what happens is, after that 12 months of hard work, there is no room for experimentation or making some change because for him, it is that he needs immediate money for him to sustain the next 13 months, for
Yes.
him to plan out his expenditure and whatever happened. So again, those methods made a lot of people to still follow traditional method where coffee is plucked, dried, and sold into the market.
Yeah. Yeah. They were just basically doing the rolling business, nothing else. I mean, there was no R&D, there was no because they never had the time and energy and the resources to put in or give it that extra what is required for the coffee. That's where we always keep saying, education is more important. People need to be educated, especially the farmers. We need to provide them, the basic understanding of where the market was and where and how the market has evolved with time. And we need to match up to that pace, and we need to get there if we really want the best out of the production that we're doing or the farmers that they're working on. Yeah, that's very important. But I think we should do some workshops or something like that. I mean, we can get. I'm sure there are a lot of estates in and around India, especially down south. We can get all the what we could do is we could get in touch with all the heads of those estate. Like if you Prajwal has a Harmakki estate, for example, it's a 5,000-acre estate. I'm just talking hypothetical, and you run the whole show, and then you have this, uh, branches of people working under you. So what we could do is, we could get the main people from all the estate under one roof, in one place, in one of the estates, or make them stay in a hotel, and then we can have like a workshop, and then after the workshop is done, once in every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or once in a month, we can just go visit their estate, and then see what progress has happened. We could do that. I mean, of course it's a slow process, but then again, we have to start that, don't you think so?
Uh, yes, that was already tried with the previous people. I'll tell you what happens within. Uh, Farmer would welcome, but most of the time it is a game of trade. So you would not like the competitor to know your methods. So that is where
Yeah.
a lot of people will also not. It is more when end of the day we can call them farmers, but a huge person who is doing it right way, it is
Right.
business. So it definitely affects him. So that is where a lot of people take a step back. But in the value chain, there are so many people for the farmer level. Like example, I am associated with one of the farming groups. So they take farmers around to do estate visits. So there are about at least 150, 200 farmers moving around this month going to one estate and
Right.
understanding what is that the plant is received to make its health better or make the produce more
Right.
or make the atmosphere better so that the plant can survive there for a longer time. It is more
Right.
of how we take care of the soil. So
Right.
it is like if we keep the bed clean, we sleep better.
True.
So same way, the soil should be healthy enough so that down the line, 7 years, 10 years, because most of it, what is happening for now, for increase of volume, there might be farmers pumping fertilizers and much of into the soil, where the soil health is also damaged. So the
Yeah.
fellow farmer,
Of course,
what they
it's
do,
too much of fertilizer also erodes the soil over time.
and and it so happens that uh, what I learned with my hotel school is they will teach you how to make a fried rice, but
Right.
they will never teach you where to go sell it.
Yes.
So
Right.
that is your
Yeah.
game again. So your game where you
Back
say
on the
the
money. Yeah. True.
farmer's game. So that is
True.
where again the organizations like this they teach you how to keep your surroundings
Right.
better so that you can function better. Because
So true.
say maybe somebody can learn a trick today.
Right.
How long can they survive without knowing a foundation
True.
for it? So a
True.
farmer also may happen that they shoot up from there. No, they know what the methods is. Do it your way.
But then again, Prajwal, see, if we 1 point plus billion people population, and we are facing this stone age issue problem. When I say stone age is the mindset of this guy will steal my method of processing my coffee. I'm just giving an example. But then you have farmers across the globe. Won't they think the same way, the way we are thinking? No. But that's the reason they are progressing, right? I mean, of course, not everybody, I would say, they're progressing, but majority of them are progressing.
I'll give you an example. The only problem for us is population and survival. Outside, like example, uh, grapes. We'll take Switzerland or France somewhere. It is more that people know there might be huge four or five families that can own a village, the whole village, and
Right.
they know each person is doing their best. So they're not competing with each other. They are
Right.
producing their best, and their product is kept on the table. It's so
Right.
here that happens that everybody is competing with each other.
Yeah.
So population is the only problem because volume
Right.
can be, but the quantity and the quality of uh, volume that is delivered, if that secrecy is lost, it ends up to business again. End of the day.
So, bro, Roger, what do you see of what is the future that lies ahead of us in for coffee in India? I mean, will will we ever match up to those brands? You know, I would not want to say the brand, but will we ever match up? We have some phenomenal coffees in India. I mean, phenomenal is an understatement. You know, of course, people who understand coffee, they'll be like, you know what, India has phenomenal coffee. We have some phenomenal estate which produces absolute gem of a coffee. Why we are not able to match up at par or be at par with those brands? I mean, I'm not saying in terms of competition wise, but I'm saying in terms of awareness wise, presence. I mean, I know people are now getting into the whole Ratnagiri, India, Ratnagiri is happening out of India. Everybody wants to try the Indian ka Ratnagiri or the Babra estate or XYZ estate or ABC estate. I'm just giving names what at the top of my head. There is awareness coming in, but not as what we always wanted it to be.
uh, it also comes behind to the person doing it. Like
Right.
example, the word you mentioned, can Ratnagiri drive on its own? The person behind
Right.
it taking it somewhere. So same way, it comes to the value that one person wants to bring in.
Right.
That's it. I am very proud to say India, and there are fellow brands who are taking Indian coffee to a great level.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people behind it making it success and making it reflect on the world stage. So one
Right.
of the names Ratnagiri also.
Yes.
Hats off.
That's what. That's what. See, because he wants to get India on the map, and he is doing whatever best in his capacity or in his capability to do. Of course, he's promoting his estate. Fair enough. That's okay. But
I'll
I
give
would
you
also want other people to, have like a role model like him, and then they also try to push it. You know what I mean?
uh, I'll give you an example. What happens in the value chain? I Everybody, when they understand their role better, the projection of their work can be made into a huge success. But
Right.
because of our population and the competition in between, it so happens that somewhere it is pulled down. Like example, Ashok sir can he identified himself as a great producer. I can say I grow coffee, but as I mentioned, in the whole value chain, I identified my role as a roaster. And
Right.
we have a friend who says his role is processing coffees. Like every person, when they understand what they're great at doing, it so becomes that we all are speaking about one word, that is coffee.
Right.
There are so many people behind producing it. So that is where, due to the population, we can say there might be competition. But apart from it, people who have taken it seriously and doing their job right, that is why their name is there.
Brilliant. Yeah. True. Wow, this has been a very interesting session. I'll be very honest. It was thorough, entertaining, lot of information. Uh, Prajwal, I really appreciate the time you took to explain your side of the story, the whole coffee community story, the whole process that the farmers go through, the hardship, the challenges that we face, or the success that we have received in the past, or we getting, which is being viewed right now. So, I mean, to sum it up all, thank you so very much, Prajwal,
Thank
for taking the time out to join
you
the
so much.
show. If you have
Uh,
something to say for the viewers, please.
See, with your question some time ago that you asked, where do you see coffee going? Uh,
Right,
Things like this when it was not spoken 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
right.
So it can be taken in a positive way that the direction that coffee is going in, it has a vast space ahead.
True.
We don't even know about
There's a
it.
huge vacuum that needs to be filled up. True.
Yes, and things like this when it happens often and more people bring out their knowledge on the table, the consumer, and it is more like the people producing it or consuming it also get into the picture, are on the same page of to know where the world stands, and they also can gear up to that level. So
True.
hats off to you, thanks to you to
Uh,
making this.
Thank you so much, Prabal. It was, as always, a pleasure to speak to you. It has been a pleasure to meet you also in the past. Great human being, very humble, and I'm
Thank,
happy that I know you on a personal level. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, all the guests that you joined in. Thank you so much. Thanks, Prajwal.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You have a good Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you. Cheers. Have a good one. Bye bye.